Airborne buzz lights up the air. Faces tense as stories tear. Truth and lies like a tango dance. Justice here takes no chance. Gavel strikes, hearts beat fast. Witness taste and shadows cast. Whispers loud like wildfire spread. In this game, none's ahead. International eyes on the scene. Lines of right blurred and lean. Arrested dreams, shattered glass. In this court, who holds the past?
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Wherever you are, good afternoon if you are somewhere else, or if you're watching this later. Sorry for no camera today. I am not feeling too great, so I am just gonna talk a little bit before I play the video that you see on the screen. I found this yesterday on my good morning, Denise. Welcome in. I found this on my internet search yesterday late at night for me, and I was doing some research about it this morning, and it's actually a case that is kind of resolved but not resolved in a way. There is a petition going on for this nurse to be brought to justice in a way, because the situation that happened is absolutely horrible. We're going to listen to in a minute, but just a bit of a resume. And the title says that she let an inmate die in the most horrible, painful way in jail because she could not be bothered. The interrogation, I did not see it fully, so I guess we're going to find out all of it for the first time. All the information really about the case and a small overview of the cases in the description below. But because it's like quite almost an hour long, I'm gonna start playing now, and hopefully we'll get a bit of time to talk about. If not, we can just chat in the comment section and then go from there. So I'm just gonna play the video and we'll listen. Let me know just if the sound is all right. Hopefully it is.
I'm sending you one down. He's on the way. He's like laying on the floor screaming. He's sweating. He says he's got abdominal pain. Well, he can't fake this.
Tiffany Womack, a trained EMT, asked to check his vitals, but the nurse in charge, Annaleen Visser, said no. The 32-year-old father was detained for drug possession. The charge nurse believed it was all an act to be sent to the hospital.
Did he look like he was okay medically at that time?
You know, when they act out, they do act like that. They pretend to be dead.
This video contains the interview of a nurse who denied a prisoner treatment, which resulted in his death. When Kevin Wingo was booked for drug possession in 2019, he expected he would go through the detox period for several days and then be released fairly quickly. He hadn't been feeling well for several days, and it wasn't long after his arrival that he felt like something was wrong. There was a pain in his stomach that kept getting worse. He was nauseous, dizzy, and found it difficult to move. When he asked for help, he was met with little to no sympathy. One of the nurses, Annaleen Visser, dismissed him as faking an illness in an attempt to get medication to ease the symptoms of his withdrawals. Some nurses were more concerned. Visser refused any request to check Wingo's vitals. She then had him placed in isolation so she wouldn't have to deal with him. While in isolation, Wingo's condition deteriorated. He vomited and could barely crawl across the floor. He became unconscious at least 6 times, according to the surveillance footage. When someone finally went to check on him, they found Wingo cold and unresponsive. He was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
Okay. Yeah, we're here to talk about the incident that happened the other day at the gym. Okay.
Mr. Wingo.
Yes, Mr. Wingo. We've watched the video, went back through everything.
Okay.
Now we're going to start back when you came into shift that morning. Okay. All right. And we've talked to other people, so we've watched the videos, so we've got a better understanding now of what happened, what went on. As before we did the other day, we went into it. We didn't have video that day. We were just doing our preliminary interviews, and this is just something we follow up and do more interviews after this, just to for our investigation, okay? Sure. So that's what this is about. So that morning you came in to shift.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain again, what was passed on to you, his behavior?
Sure.
And just, kind of slow it down for me so we can understand it, so we can,
Okay, so it was a Sunday morning. I came on duty at 6 o'clock, and the night nurse, Yvette Burton, she handed over to me, and she said that Mr. Wingo was, in the night, he was disorderly, and they were going to put him in close-ups. She told me she was going to put him in close-ups. I said, okay, don't worry, I'll look at him, and if he needs to go, I'll put him in close-ups. She went home, gave me a report, went home. I went and sat at the desk. At that time, there was no commotion. He was in room number 8, okay, which is just a little distance. There was no commotion.
And at that time, where were you sitting in reference to room 8?
I was sitting near the officer's desk.
Okay.
So I sit there, which is about 1, 2, I would say 3 doors away from me. He was in 8, 7, 6, and 5, just directly in front of me. Okay, there was no commotion. Then what happened is, while I got up, is the gentleman next to his bed was at the back, and there were 1, 2, 3 bunks. And here's the door. The door was here. And the gentleman on the, I would say on the right-hand side, Mr. I can't remember his name, Watkins, I can't remember his name. He got up to go to the bathroom, and Mr. Wingo got into his bed. So when he came back, he said, hey, this guy's in my bed, okay? And Marshall was on duty. She was the deputy at the time. And I didn't go yet. That was the first time that I went there. So we saw the commotion, and he was loud at the time. And Mr. Watkins, I think it was Mr. Watkins, if I remember, said, I can't remember his name. I think he said, get him out of my bunk. Okay. He got up and he went back to his bunk, Mr. Wingo. Then later on, he came and he moved in between the 2 bunks. And he was lying there, and that's when the gentleman, Mr. Watkins, I think his name was Watkins, called and said, get this guy away from me because he stinks. And that's when I got up and I went to the window to see. And I said to Mr. Wingo, go back to your bunk. This is not your bunk.
Wingo was in pain and may have been disoriented or attempting to rest in the bed that was a shorter distance for him to reach.
And he scooted back and he went back to his bunk. Okay? Then I went back, and then later on, this guy went to the bathroom again. And that's when Mr. Wingo went into his bed again. And that's when Marshall said, I'll have to move him to close-ups or move him out. And she told him to come. I wasn't standing there, I was standing at a distance, I think behind the counter. And Marshall took him out, and she called Sergeant Gordon to come, because at that stage he was rowdy and loud. Gordon took him, handcuffed him, got him up, he stood against the window, and he handcuffed him, and I think he moved him to the seat in front of the desk, and he was loud. He was talking, and then they said, Gordon said, then Major Harris came, and Gordon said we're going to take him to the annex. And he walked to about room number 11, and then they said, okay, I didn't see it, they said that they're going to put him in a wheelchair, and they moved him to a wheelchair.
All right, let's go back to when you were sitting at the desk over there.
Okay.
And this is, right when you came in. Was anybody saying anything to you? Did you hear him over the intercom say he couldn't breathe? Did any other nurses advise you of this?
No.
Nobody said anything to you while you were sitting at the desk?
No. He was rowdy and he was loud.
Okay.
He was rowdy and he was
yeah,
loud.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is,
he didn't say
the
I can't
nurses,
breathe.
but the nurses that were in the infirmary, assigned out to the infirmary, nurses, techs, whatever they were, did any of those say what
To me.
Yes, to you that he needed to be checked because he could not
No.
breathe? You don't recall
No, I
that?
don't recall that. No, not at all. No. He was rowdy, he was loud.
Explain rowdy.
Okay. He was loud, he was I don't know what he was saying. He was just disruptive, loud and shouting, and I can't remember exactly what he was saying. And that's why Marshall said, I think I'm going to put him in close-ups.
So Marshall said that she was going to put him in close-ups.
Yes. She said, I'll move him so that he can go to close-ups. That's when she called Gordon, because he was rowdy and because that guy wanted to hit him because he was on his bunk. And he said, if you don't take him away, we're gonna hit him. Okay. And Marshall moved him out.
When was the last time his vitals were taken?
Listen, probably the night before, I think. I don't know when Yvette does it. I think they do it about, I don't know what time they do it at night.
At the time those vitals were taken, the results did not show anything to indicate Wingo had any concerning health problems.
We only do it at about 8 o'clock. But if he's disruptive, you can't, I don't go near them as far as vitals are concerned.
I seen the video and I didn't see the disruptive part. So, just to be honest. So, in the video, there are people that we can see that are employees that they're concerned about him in the room, and they stated that he fell over in the room.
No, he didn't fall. Well, I didn't see that, and you never told me he fell.
Wingo collapsed several times, and more than one nurse was concerned about his condition. When they asked Visser if they could check his vitals, she refused. I recently released another highly intense video on my Patreon, an explosive altercation between two cops, where tension escalated so quickly, resulting in a drawn gun and a devastating gunshot. In a mere 26 seconds, witness the events unfold as two officers engage in a fight that turns deadly. Watch this video and more at patreon.com/strangerstoriesplus.
Neither did the other inmate say that he fell at all. He was lying between the two bunks. I don't know, maybe he thought that was the bed or he just wanted to lie there. And the only reason I went was because that gentleman, Mr. on the right-hand side, said, move him because he stinks, we don't want him here. And I asked him to go back.
Did any of the nurses say that he fell?
No, not to me. No, not to me at all.
Would it be surprising if some of them did say that they told you that they?
I would be surprised, yeah, because I went there. I went to his room. I don't know if you saw that in the video.
Yeah, I saw the video.
I did go to the room.
Yeah, you did.
I did go to the room and asked him to move back.
No, when you asked him to move back, how did he move back?
He moved back with his hands onto the bunk.
Did that look a little bit like not normal hands the way he was
crawling? No, he had on white pants. When I asked him to move, he moved back. He scooted back with his hands.
When you were talking to him, what was his complaint at the dorm?
He didn't say anything.
He didn't say
anything at the window. All I said to him is, Mr. Wingo, move back. And I still went like this and said, move back to your bunk. That was all. He didn't say anything to me like I've got a headache or I feel sick or I'm vomiting or anything.
Okay. Why were you asking him to move back?
Because the gentleman said, if you don't move him, he's lying. I went because the gentleman said he's lying here on the floor and he stinks. That's why I went there and said, please move back. And we did.
I guess what I was getting at with that is the deputy. Why wasn't she over there? Why did you notify her that there was going to be a fight? Or because normally if something like that's going to happen, we may have to step in to break that fight up instead of you just going to the door and asking them to move back. So that's why I was asking.
I don't know. I didn't even ask Marshall. I mean, I think she came the second time that he lay on the bunk. She came and she said, I think I better just move him to close-ups. Let's move him out of the room.
Okay. And you said that if somebody's acting out, you don't take their vitals. But we've seen the video and I have yet to see him throughout the video acting out at all.
Well, I think.
There's people did anybody mention about taking his vitals to you? Do you remember that? When somebody said that to you?
No. Nobody said take his vitals. No.
Okay. No.
I went over there because he was loud, okay? And because the guy said he was lying in between the two bunks. You understand? And he continued being loud.
So explain loud to me.
Okay, he was talking.
Explain like how he was
he was talking loudly, and I'd been already warned that he's going to go to close-up because of his disruptive behavior in the night. And I did say to him, I will take care of him. If I have to move him, I'll move him to close-ups. If I have to.
Okay. So you don't think you were just coming to an assumption, since you'd already been warned about that you know, he was acting out?
Well, maybe
You know,
I was warned. Okay, maybe, be careful,
Yeah.
Maybe, but I mean, Marshall moved him out because he was disruptive, which allowed everybody's fun.
Okay.
And we didn't want to fight.
No, you don't want to fight.
Sure.
I'm just having a hard time recalling that no one, stated his medical emergency to you that, and think about this, while you're sitting at the computer, you're telling me that no one made a comment to you about him not being able to breathe.
No, I promise you, nobody.
Okay.
Visser was asked by at least 2 different people if they should check Wingo's vitals. He had been sick and was visibly sweating, which is a symptom he would not have been able to fake.
I'm not lying, I promise you.
Okay. And you're telling me nobody made a comment to check his vitals.
No.
Do you know what his oxygen level was when he came in?
No.
You don't recall? Okay.
I don't recall that. I know they did the vitals the night before.
Okay.
Well, what happened? Where did you get that from? What?
It's still on
investigation.
Yeah, it's still on investigation.
Okay.
But we're trying to conduct our investigation, and we have information based on video and witness statements that there was a lot more going on.
But more?
We have to, not only do we look at stuff, but we got to find out step by step.
Sure.
Everything that happened to us.
Sure.
So why was he down there?
Because he was detoxing from opiates. He does IV heroin and he snorts heroin and cocaine.
Was there anything else that was down there, or complaints that he was down there for?
Not that I know of.
His
No.
ulcer?
I just know it was opiate detox.
How about an ulcer? Because that's what he went down for, was an ulcer.
Oh no, nobody told me anything about an ulcer. No.
Is that?
When she handed over to me, she obviously admitted him. When she handed over to me, she said he's for opiate detox, and he does IV heroin, snorts it, and snorts cocaine.
You guys normally look through the notes and the charts.
You know what?
Shifts.
I normally do because I've got to hand over to the doctor. Okay, it was Sunday morning, so I hadn't gone through his stuff at all. I think he was room number 8, and we had other people before him. But I do go through it normally to hand over to the doctor, if there's anything else. But if it's good, she really is good, and she normally puts down everything if there was an ulcer. And if maybe didn't mention it.
But you're saying you didn't look at the chart that morning?
I did not look at the chart. I just got through it from her. And this happened, I came on duty, 6 o'clock, she handed over to me about 6:20, I think she left. And at 7 o'clock, he was already being loud and getting into somebody else's bike.
No.
None of the surveillance footage of Wingo shows him being loud or doing anything that might be viewed as causing a disturbance.
And, you say he's being loud. What else was he doing, besides being loud? What was he?
What can I say? Just, as I say, getting into other people's bunk, I suppose. What do you call it? Not being obedient, not following command. I don't know why he wanted to get into the front bunk on the right-hand side. I don't know why.
Is it, when he came out of the dorm?
Out of the cell.
Yeah, out of the cell after. How was his behavior? How was he, how was his loudness then?
Well, he was still, I can't remember what he was saying, but he was still loud. I don't know what he was saying, I can't remember what he was saying, but he was loud. So much so that I still say to Marshall, listen, don't open the door, okay? Because I've been with the jail for a long time, and Venables was attacked, and I told her years back, don't go into room 3, and she did. So again, I said to Marshall, don't go in there on your own. Get a sergeant. Don't open the door, okay? Because he's getting, he's causing agitation with the other inmates. You know what I mean? Don't go in there on your own. And she said, don't worry, I'll just call him to come. And somehow she got him to come to the door. And then she pulled him, no, she didn't pull him out. Gordon came. Gordon pulled him out, Sergeant Gordon. I told her, don't go in there on your own.
And after Sergeant Gordon gets there, how is his behavior then?
I think, I know if he was resisting him, because, let me think, Gordon got him down and told him to stand up, and he did stand up, and he put his hands on the glass, and Gordon handcuffed him and moved him, I think, to in front of the desk, and he was still loud. I don't know what he was saying, but he was still loud. And then Major Harris came, Harris came, and they took him to the annex, and he walked until about room 11, and then they said the criminal on a wheelchair. And the next time I had anything to do with him was the code, and he was in the annex, the extension.
Okay. And you're the head nurse over all of the nurses that are down in the infirmary, correct? You kind of tell them what to do, tell them what not to do. Okay. All right.
And I must admit, when they called the code, I was like, who can that be? Is that Wingo acting out? And I really didn't go because the other RN went. Luckily I did.
What conversation did you and Harris have about the move?
About who?
The move to
the annex.
annex is the extension.
The extension. Listen, I had no say in that. I had no say as to where he's going. You know what I mean? They didn't ask me. I mean, that's Marshall and Gordon. They decided to take him to the extension. They could have put him into our close house, maybe a full, I don't know what. Marshall decided to take him to the annex.
So
the extension.
You and Major Harris then. Major, who decides? Are you guys able to put?
No.
It's been so.
We don't have any input as to where they go. You know, I can't say don't take him, put him in the. I mean, they could have put him in close ups right there. Maybe it was full. You know, I don't know. You know, but we don't have any say. You know, I don't say you can't go. That's really good because I never really say security moves as they deem. You know.
And then, was any of the times when he was talking, was there anything saying about being in pain?
No.
Because my view of the video is he's in physical pain and he passed out.
Passed out? Wait.
About 6 times. That's what he was doing when he was getting on the boats. He was passing out. He did one time he was standing straight up and he went flat straight back. Boom. And a nurse saw it.
Which nurse?
The one sitting at the front counter. And she looked up. And
The tech saw it at the front counter. Tiana. And he fell right back. Nobody told me that. I promise you, nobody told me
He
that.
passed out and then 6 times. He went south.
How can you pass out and then just come through quickly? You know what I mean?
He fell out and it wasn't a fake fall. And no one was watching.
Okay, nobody told me that. Nobody told me that he fell.
He went to the bathroom multiple times.
Who? Okay, you know, apparently he was complaining of a penile discharge.
He had that in an ulcer.
I know, don't tell us. I don't know. Okay, I only read that.
Blood in his vomit.
No.
That's what he came down for.
Oh.
Forced out.
But you know what? He came down for that and then he changed his tune. Remember? He came down and said, he hasn't got that anymore. He said, now I've got, I think it ended up with penile discharge. But I don't know, and he never spoke to me about that at all. And nobody told me that he fell straight back, fell out. No.
That's what he was doing when they were complaining about being in his boat. It's because he'd be standing there and all of a sudden he'd just be boom, gone.
No. No, you don't pass out like that. No, I don't believe that.
It's on video, so he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Then he just passed out and came out.
It's very disturbing.
He'd be out for a little bit time, and then he'd wake up and then he'd kind of wobble over to his bone. He was disoriented.
Does it show when he comes to the other guy's bunk?
That's right. He falls in it a couple times. When he's getting into the bunk, he's falling into it. He's not.
But listen, if you fall and you faint, when you come through, you can't just move off the bunk.
No, he would be disoriented for a minute, and it would take him a second, then he would kind of crawl over to his bed. Just like you were saying, he was backing up some.
Yeah.
That was after he
Did
fell
you
out.
see him backing up? That's the only time that when I went, you saw him backing up. But I went over there because the gentleman was saying he's in my bunk. Okay, and when I told him to go back, he followed command and he went back to his bunk.
Right.
And then he came and he was between the two bunks.
And, I mean, literally what we're trying to find out is what was going on in there. And we know it was noticed that he was falling out.
Several medical experts viewed the footage of Wingo in isolation, and they agreed that he was showing every sign of experiencing a medical emergency.
Can I say that he was faking it or not? To me, it looked real. And I've seen a lot of people fake it. The way he was walking around, hunched over, and just the way it looked like visible.
You know what? He was upset because he wanted to go to the ER. All along, he wanted to go to the ER.
Well, kind of turned out that he probably needed to.
Maybe, but
There's no
they
baby.
all want to go to the
Yeah,
ER.
but-
They really do.
I know, but this case, there was no baby about it. He needed to probably go.
Well, only because he's died. Otherwise,
Well, that's
you know what I mean?
positive reason.
Okay, and no, but
There's 5 of them that do it, but one of
Sure,
them. But
okay.
that's
I mean, you can't say
but that's
everyone
what-
to the ER because they want to go to the
and I
ER. You know what
I
I mean?
understand that.
And when he
That's
came
what-
down, he changed his story. So
But that's what we're trying, that's why we're trying to get tidbits from everybody, because everybody's seen different stuff. And
Okay.
everybody's talking, that's why we're talking to you to see if someone's talked to you about it.
Okay,
Obviously, you're in charge, nurse, so you're in charge, so we gotta see
sure.
if people did talk to you about it.
No.
You know,
Nobody told me that he fell, number one, or that he's vomiting, or that he's passed out, or that he's complaining.
That's
No.
I'm not for sure if he was vomiting while he was down there, but that was the reason he was coming to their end for an ulcer and for.
Okay, he came down originally, apparently, because he wanted to go to the ER. And you know, when they come off opiates, they want more opiates, so they say I need to go to the ER to get more drugs. Could be, I'm just saying, could
No,
be,
I agree.
that he maybe wants more drugs,
I mean,
and,
I've been there, which happened.
you know, so we can't, I mean, if there's a reason to send him, we would have sent him if he's vomiting blood, or he's pouring blood.
We
We'll
can
send
send
him
it
to the
we can
ER.
send him for a bleeding ulcer.
If he's bleeding, sure.
If there was an ulcer,
He's there with blood and he's vomiting red blood,
yes.
sure, we would send him.
So how about if that was happening before South and you got sent down for that?
Well, then the officer would tell us, and you know what we say is,
Well,
if he is
A
vomiting,
nurse is the one that sent him down for it because she was there. The pill nurse, I believe.
Yeah, the pill nurse, yeah, she sent him down.
what, for vomiting
And his complaint was of ulcers.
of ulcers, okay, so that's new to me. But usually, okay, what happens, if they say on the pod, they're vomiting, we usually say, give them a red bag so we can see the vomit. Okay, that's all I want to do. I don't mind, you can come down, let me see the vomit. And when I see the vomit, I call the doctor and say, listen, you've got vomit, blah, 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 blah. And the doctor will say, send him out or start an IV, we're good at that.
But that's what, and that's, this situation is before you. came
Before I came on duty, sure.
So that's something that we're trying to look into to see what the circumstances are to being the charge nurse. So, did they, and I'm not super, was there blood in the vomit? Is that what was said for coming down, or was he saying that it was?
Just complained of ulcers when he came down. The blood and vomit was several days before that he was complaining about. And
While in custody?
Yeah, while in custody. Yeah, because he was given a shot by the doctor.
Okay, that's
For
a
his
few
knowledge.
days,
Yeah,
okay, that's a
right.
few days.
And that's when he was in Great South.
Okay, he was given Finnegan, I remember he was, I think somebody told me, they gave him Finnegan. It
Yeah,
was,
so he's been thrown up for a few days.
I don't know about a few days. I mean, if you get Finnegan, if you vomit once, we'll give you Finnegan.
Right.
You know, we
A
don't.
shot of it?
Sure,
I don't
it's
know.
not
That's,
bad.
I
Yeah,
don't
sure,
know.
sure,
I mean, I know my wife took it when she was pregnant.
sure, yeah. Finnegan, good stuff. But, so when he came down, he changed his story, apparently. That's just what I was told. I didn't read the chart.
So when you came on duty, did you have, besides walking up to him and telling him to back up, did you have any contact with him that day?
No.
No contact?
But I did hear a noise in room 8. You know, I did hear a noise in room 8. And I think Marshall, maybe she did 1 or 2 rounds, I don't know, I can't remember. And I went,
So you only heard a noise?
I heard all the loudness, you know, cursing and get this guy out, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? And when I went over there, as I say, he was between the 2 bunks and he was lying. And this guy said, tell him to move away because he stinks. Do you not interview the inmates? You don't interview them?
Yeah. Right.
The other inmates were interviewed and said that Wingo was not being overly loud. He kept repeating that he was sick and needed help. And while some of the inmates thought this might be because of the detox, those closer to him believed he was in genuine need of medical attention.
Yeah, everybody's been interviewed, so
Okay.
that's where we're kind of at this point.
So, how long were you there before you got moved?
On duty an hour.
Okay,
So you got moved just before 7.
So you were on duty for an hour.
Yeah.
And then when you came on duty, you're passed on from the night charge nurse.
Yes.
Or is that charge nurse do the back on duty?
Yes.
Okay, so
We do the charge, we go check the drugs and then she passes.
when you took drugs,
We check the drugs in the lab room.
okay, make sure that they were
That all the drugs are right.
right.
It's not
So no takes.
that you didn't use something in the night and didn't write it down.
Okay, so
So,
when you come on, you talk to the nighttime charge nurse and tell me what she told you again about it.
so she told me that the guy in 8, Mr. Wingo, she was going to put him in toe socks because he's been disruptive in the cell. And I said, oh, and she said, he wants to go to the ER. I think he's drug seeking, he's opiate detox, he's IV heroin and he snorts heroin and he snorts cocaine. She said, I was going to put him in toe socks. And I said, okay, I will see how he is and if he needs to go, I'll do it.
From that point, before when you did that thing, from that point back, did you have any knowledge of this inmate at all?
No.
Okay, so you didn't know, you had no dealings with any of his prior stuff at the jail?
No.
And then when do you guys start looking into each inmate's profile as the day? So, because he would have been a new one.
He would have been a new one.
So would that have been something to where the profile would have been started for, or is another, so since you're the charge nurse, is there other nurses that are involved? Would there have been a nurse involved with him for that prior hour you were there?
No, I don't think so, no. I mean, there's 2 nurses. The one does, she goes and does insulin as soon as we come on at 6 o'clock. She goes and does insulin, which leaves one other nurse, which was Shay. Shay was pulling meds. She was pulling meds. So she pulls meds between, I would say, 6, 7, maybe 7:15, 7:15. She pulls meds, okay? Puts them on the cart, gets them ready. What I normally do is I usually start going through the chart. So when the doctor comes, I can hand over to the doctor. I go through each one to see that but he's already on his detox. He was already a few days on his detox, I think. And then, so he was still on his detox as far as I know.
And what time of the day would he have, since he just came down, would he have seen the doctor? Did the doctors come in at what time?
At about 9:30 on a Sunday.
So would he have seen a doctor that day?
He would have seen, no, we would have seen him first. We would have seen him when we did his vitals. So what happens is that about, as soon as she's pulled the meds and the second nurse comes back, we all, where my desk is, we do the vitals straight there. We give them a medication, do the vitals, any dressings that need to be done, any blood sugars that need to be checked, we do it right there.
So,
And where the officers sit, so it's right on that little corner.
so
right
he
on my
didn't
desk.
make it to the
No.
med time for where you did
He didn't
that?
make it to the vitals, which will be maybe 7:30, 7:45, we do it.
So,
Because he was moved at 7 o'clock, they moved him to the extension.
so at a normal time, when you get in, you get your pass on,
Mhm.
and then you guys would start preparing your stuff
Mhm.
about 7:38 when or 8 or so when the car's loaded for medical.
I would say 7:30. 7:30.
So at 7:30, you would
Then
start.
Jennifer will bring your card and we'll start doing everything. We start from one room and go right
And
through
you go all the way.
all the right through.
So at that time, he did not have any of his vitals.
Even though Wingo did not make it in time for the scheduled checkup, taking his vitals when he was admitted might have caught the problem in time.
No.
And then I've heard from prior when I was here for, but and you said that he was rowdy. Was he in your mind rowdy or then for not to take vitals before he went down there, or would that have been, say you guys leaving, if someone's leaving your thing to go to a pad, is it a normal thing to take vitals?
No, because normally they move them when they're disruptive. Do you understand? They're arguing and he wants to go to the ER and loud one.
So-
Don't take vitals.
So that's not a, well,
That's not a standard.
How about if it's a compliant patient, before they leave and they move somewhere else, is their vitals taken?
If they're moving him, I mean, he's a medical patient. Why would they be moving him to the annex or the extension?
I don't know.
Understand? They wouldn't move him because he's a medical patient.
I know, but I'm saying it on a normal stance, a person that's moving out of the infirmary, is that part of the process that we for some reason do vitals before they left?
No, if they're close up and they're cleared by mental health, they go straight to the pod. We don't do their vitals if they're cleared because they want to kill themselves. So when they're cleared, they go straight.
So how about a medical patient?
A medical patient, well, we do all the vitals. We do it once in the morning and once at night.
How about if they're moving, if they get cleared?
Well, if they get cleared, so the doctor comes, goes around, clears them, the vitals have already been done in the morning. Unless they've got high blood pressure or there's some reason why we have to recheck it, then we do, no problem. Or blood sugar, we recheck it.
I'm learning from this too, that's why there's so many questions.
Sure.
So in my mind, are you saying, I'm not doubting that you saying words and stuff, but in my mind, are you thinking and being a little bit more precautionary of saying that he was rowdy because of the nurse statement prior saying he was disorderly?
No, I think I heard him.
Right.
I heard him being disruptive.
I mean, being disruptive as in as being loud talking.
No, as in cursing.
Right. No, that's what I mean by
Okay,
loud talking.
cursing.
Was he fighting like?
No.
Was
He wasn't fighting
he,
at all.
when he sat down?
No, he wasn't fighting at all.
And so, what I'm trying to get at is when the vitals been taken, either way, if he was compliant.
His vitals would have been done when it was his turn.
Yes, I understand that part. If he stayed in there,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that because what I'm looking at is with his vitals been taken, if he was leaving out of there.
To go to the annex.
Yes.
They would only move him to the annex or to close hold
Visser was the only person who ever accused Wingo of being disruptive.
if he's disruptive.
Right.
Do you
But and
understand?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out if it's a
Standard.
normal
Okay.
thing that happens when anybody leaves, our vitals taken,
No.
or if it's you guys take your vitals are taken at morning time,
In evening time, yeah. Unless the doctor says he's got high blood pressure, recheck it, do it
Then
again.
you would say that.
Yeah. But if he's moving because he's disruptive and he's loud and he wants to go to the ER, no. In fact, we're scared to go near them because you never know, they'll attack you or hit you, you know what I mean?
I understand.
No, I don't go near them.
But that's why I keep, because I'm trying to make sure I understand that if they leave out of there at any circumstance, you're saying their vitals wouldn't be taken necessarily, it's only you taking at 7:30 in the morning, and
Yeah.
probably 7:30 at night, I would assume. it's
700 or 800 times they do it. As soon as it settles down and it can be, remember, they're going to be done when it's compliant with Marshall, do you understand, with the deputy, but she's got other stuff going on, and if mental health is out, she can only bring out so many officers. So we wait until she says, I say to her, can we do the vitals, can we start? And she'll tell me when everything's calm, okay, I can bring 2 or 3 people out. She just brings 2 at a time, you know what I mean?
I got it, because and I got kind of where I was trying to figure out where we're at on. And tell me the stuff on going into the pad, are they supposed to be checked when they go into the pad?
You know what, if they Okay, but normally, no. Because they're weepy, they're agitated, some of them are aggressive, some, I don't touch them. I really don't, unless they calm and they say, listen, okay, otherwise, no.
Now, but.
And most of them refuse. They say, I don't want to talk, I don't want to answer your questions, just leave me alone. And I put there, will not answer questions, won't answer, because I've got to admit them. So everybody who goes into bed, I've got to admit them.
So,
do you understand?
So that, would you say the only time that you would check on an inmate that went into a pad or something is if they were put in a chair, or if they're
or if they released?
They're released.
Otherwise, the office, unless they fight, they get into a fight, or they start bleeding, or they vomit, or they jump from the top, or whatever, then you go.
So
otherwise,
so when he went into the pad from leaving from your guys'
to that
into the pad, and he was nothing was going on different. It's unnormal that it would be unnormal if he did get checked for vitals or checked on him because he's not in a chair.
No, he won't be checked. If he's taken from room 8 to that extension, he won't be checked. No, that is not the normal because they're moving him because he's disrupted. Okay?
So the reason his vitals weren't taken is because he was disrupted.
Sure. He wanted to go to the ER.
And
well, that goes against what I was asking, because it wasn't because he was disrupted.
They moved him because he was disrupted.
No, they
and the guy.
Listen, I'm not trying to trick you.
Okay.
His vitals weren't taken because he was disruptive.
Yes.
They were.
They were not taken because he was disruptive.
Well, that's kind of contradicting what we've already came across. Because you were putting me under the understanding that vitals are taken at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
7:30 at night.
Yes.
So vitals weren't taken because he was disruptive.
Well, vitals weren't taken on him that day because we hadn't started doing it, number one.
That's where.
Okay, we hadn't started doing it.
That's where I don't know if
okay.
Because vitals weren't taken because he was disruptive. Vitals are taken because 7:30 is when it happens. He was taken out because the vitals are taken when the nurse does his meds and they come out and check. Yes, and everybody gets the vitals.
You
guys do not check people's vitals when they are leaving the infirmary to go to the extension.
No.
And then his vitals were not checked at the extension because that is not a normal thing for when they're putting them in there for that case.
Yes, no.
Okay, see, you were going for,
The other
you
way.
were on the disruptive part, and you've already told me that, so I want to clarify it to make sure that if that is what we just said is the correct way.
Sure.
I'm not sure if that's.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Throughout the questioning, Visser has remained calm and composed. She believes she has done nothing wrong and shows none of the typical signs of guilt.
Because that was one of our things that we're looking at was where there's supposed to be vitals taken, where they're not. And apparently there would have been vitals taken if he would have been in the dorm at that time, at the time of you guys doing it.
Well, he would have, if he stayed there, he would have had it done at 7:30. He would have had his vitals done like everybody else at 7:30. We give them, fill up their picture, give them their meds, and if they need blood sugars or wound care or anything, we do it all one time together.
And tell me symptoms and habits and stuff of a detoxing opiate guy person.
Okay, opiate guy. They're agitated, they are drug seeking, okay? And they remind me of a cat in a cage. I think that's the best way to describe it, that they just wish that they could get out. They're agitated, they're aggressive, they're drug seeking, they want the drugs. I mean, sometimes their blood pressure elevated, they can have sweating, and they curse and they fight and they want what they want.
Okay, and so when you were given the charge nurse thing, were you told at all about an ulcer?
No.
This guy? But what did they tell you she was telling you about this guy? Because it seems like this guy stood out.
Okay, all she said.
Did this guy stand out on her pass on?
It did, because she said to me she was going to close ups him, but she didn't. She said I was going to put him in close ups because the whole night he's been cursing, saying he wants to go to the ER. And she said his IV heroin, he's opiate detox, IV heroin, snorts heroin, and snorts cocaine. I said, oh, and she said, all he wants to do is go to the ER. And she said, I think he's got something. She said, I was going to put him in close-up, but I didn't. And I said, okay, I will look at him, and if he needs to, I'll put him in close-ups. I have never a problem with it.
But when you say that, is that your decision? Is that the charge nurse decision to put him in close-up?
Sure, if he's disrupted in the cell and he's going to cause trouble, move him out. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
What do you have to do to do the close-up? Do you have to get?
You have to fill out a form as to why you're putting him in close-up, and you explain disruptive, fighting, causing trouble, moving.
Earlier, Visser claimed that she would have no say in where Wingo or any other patient was placed.
And their mental health sees it.
Did someone fill out a form for him to go to the pad?
No.
Why? What's the difference between?
You know what? I did not fill it out. No, we didn't fill out a form for him to go to the pad.
But is there?
Marshals should have, or I should have, I suppose, but I didn't.
Okay, so there should have been a.
There should have been a form that he was disrupted.
And that's what would have been taken to the pad
Sure.
for that.
Sure.
And is this something that you would, not that you have to talk with Watch Commander about this?
No, you don't have to tell Watchman, no. Anybody can put them, if they're not compliant or they're fighting or they're disruptive, put them in close-ups. And their mental health sees them. And usually they refer him to Dr. Hidash, give him on some medication, give him some Visceral or whatever, Benadryl to calm him down.
Okay. You had to go back to shift.
Yeah, that's right.
What time are you off?
6.
It's okay. Well,
So we haven't got an autopsy as to why. What was the white stuff around his nose?
I'm
Is
not
he the
sure.
only one who
Yeah.
saw that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's all still under investigation. So they're doing the same thing we're doing, trying to figure out, all the
Ins and outs.
Yeah, exactly. So, you never know when you'll hear anything. It all takes a little bit of time, but I had a busy day today.
Today hasn't been that bad. Let me see. We have Matt Bennett in the infirmary. He's great. You know Matt Bennett?
Oh, yeah, I used to work with him.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, I used to work with him.
I love him in the infirmary. He's fantastic. He really is. Good guy. He knows how to handle it, man.
Yeah, he's been there a
With
while.
Marshall, she's a bit new.
Yeah, I was in the infirmary for a while. I was on shift 4 by myself, and it's so.
Did you? So you know it. Come on, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly how it is in the infirmary. Yep.
You know. And Carter, I don't think he's ever worked in infirmary, has he?
I'm not sure. Yeah, he was here way before me, so I don't know. He was, he's a few years ahead of me. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yep. But, so. Today your Friday, or you gotta come back?
I come back tomorrow. Sunday.
Okay.
I'm trying Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and this week Wednesday.
It's not horrible. So you work 4 and so you're kind of on Jill's schedule too, like 4 and 3, or.
No, we work 12 hours.
But do you work 4 days at a time, and then
4 days. And
then
3
you
days
work
off.
3 days off, and then 3 days on, 4 days off?
I do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every week, and usually every Wednesday as well.
Okay. It's not bad. Infirmary.
So who told, did they tell Marshall that he fell? I want to know who said he fell. Why'd they tell me he fell?
So you think about when you're at your computer.
And the noise is
Right.
going on. And the noise is going on. I don't remember anybody tell me he fell. No. Or that he was bleeding, or that he was vomiting, or anything like that.
Yeah, not necessarily the bleeding and vomiting, but you're short, not being able to breathe and having trouble breathing.
He was loud. If you're loud, you're probably breathing. You know what I mean? If you're loud and you're disruptive, how can you? I want to go to the ER. You know what I mean? I can't believe I said it was loud. That's why we moved him, because it was loud and disruptive. That was when we moved him. It's got a button.
Yeah, I mean, we've watched the video, so we.
Does it look bad? I'd love to see it. Does it show that he forced people in?
Oh, yeah. Several times. Yeah.
Several times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
And it shows him getting into the bunk, right? Into this guy's bunk. It shows him moving back.
Yeah, because he can't stand up because he's so weak. And that's why he crawled back to his bed.
No.
Wingo was in such pain that he had to drag himself across the floor. And at several points, even that much was beyond his capabilities.
Okay. Listen, he got up and walked to Marshall.
Right.
He got up and he walked to Marshall. He walked out of the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I
and
guess we've seen all that.
Yeah.
And then he lays on the ground.
Oh, he lay on the ground because he didn't want to get up. He lay on the ground. Is that after he was cuffed or before he was cuffed? He didn't want to get up. And and Gordon said, come on. I heard Gordon say, come on, get up, you can move. And he got up. And then Gordon took him and he sat on the chair and he was still loud. I don't know what he was saying there. I don't know what he was saying, but he was still loud. And then Gordon
Louder than like screaming?
I want to go to the ER and you people don't
So he was like screaming.
Yeah, he was shouting, yeah, I want to go to the ER and I don't know what else he was saying. And then Major Harris came and they took him. Listen, I had a guy once who came from the annex. Sergeant Brandon was with me. Listen, he sat in the chair. He was laughing. He came, I don't know if you heard about him. He laughed coming to the infirmary. He sat in the chair.
Sad.
Very sad.
Very sad. No.
I'd have to know where he died from.
That was, and you talked to Major Harris, that one? I don't know, I watched so much video. So.
Did I speak? No, I don't think I spoke to him at all. He spoke to Gordon and they took him out. Mm-hmm.
Still a few minutes. I got you. Yeah. Why did you not write a form up for him to go to them? Pat?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't write in the form.
Is that, I mean.
Because he could have, let me see, they put him there. He would have come back to us once he settled down.
I know, but.
And he was calmer.
But going to the pad, there's supposed to be a form.
There's supposed to be, as to why he came to the pad.
So why wasn't that?
I didn't do it.
Visser cannot come up with a good reason why she did not fill out the correct paperwork. In addition to her refusal to allow his vitals to be taken, it almost appears as if Visser singled out Wingo for neglect.
I really.
Is that whose responsibility is that?
I suppose it falls on me or Marshall. Why he went to the annex to structure.
And then still trying to get something. Why did, when the guy's being disruptive and stuff, would that not cause you to read his chart to find out what's going on?
No, at the time, I think you just handled the situation at the time as to what they're going to do with him.
Well, that's, and what I'm getting at is, because he's disruptive, what I see is he's disruptive and he's acting out sort of from the video, from me looking at it. I mean, he looked like he was actual pain, faking or not, stuff.
Okay.
But would that be something for medically, like besides, I know, did you already have your mindset that he was detoxing?
I knew it was detoxing, yes.
And because they said that, did that just pass that on from
That stuff?
Well, from another medical emergency? In your mind, already thinking that he's just detoxing? Did that change your mind as of being a true medical emergency? Because that's what it looks like is happening.
I don't know how to answer that.
I mean,
because he's detoxing, he's on detox meds.
But
him acting out.
He had because where I'm getting at is if I know we have cry wolf. It happens a lot.
What's cry wolf? What's that mean?
Well, like he wants to go to emergency.
Sure.
It happens.
Sure.
But we assume that that's what was wrong, and in actuality, that's not what was wrong with him. And so I'm just trying to figure out if you would have looked at the charge or the sheet, and it came up that he had prior, he was throwing up constantly. He was given Phenergan. He was complaining of an ulcer. And would that be something that would look into where, okay, is he crying wolf, or do we need to send him out because he's acting up? I would act up if I was locked in a room.
I would also act up. I would. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I would say I was warned, maybe. Okay. He's acting out, so I sort of expected him to act out. You know what I mean? You know, he wanted to go to the ER. The nurse at night didn't think he needed the ER, okay? And she was going to put him on close-up, so I did say I would handle it, okay? And as I say, I know it, when I came out, he was loud. And as I say, I only went there when he got into the other guy's bunk, okay? Told him to, and then this guy said, move back, he moved back, and then when he lay between us, when I went and told him to move back. But he didn't look like he was in distress to me. He followed command when I said, go back. Mr. Wingo, go back. And I still went like this with my hand, go back to your bunk. He went back, he scooted back.
Although Wingo was suffering, he desperately tried to comply with their instructions. Being able to do so in the beginning only meant that his condition was in the beginning stages of becoming critical.
When he was standing up, he was hunched over, walking around. I never
saw that.
Yeah, he was hunched over.
I never saw that.
And, you know.
But he got up to walk to Marshall when Marshall told him to come out. Okay? He came out the door. Gordon told him to put his hands on the window, which he did, and then he went down, he didn't want to get up, and Gordon told him to get up.
Did he fall down?
No, I don't know. I don't know if he fell down or I can't say that because I just heard Gordon telling him to get up.
Was Gordon touching him when he fell down or when he went down?
I don't know. I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
Right.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
Kelvin John Wingo's death was caused by a perforated ulcer, which is a serious condition that causes a high level of pain. If he had been given the help he requested, his life could have been saved. Annaleen Visser was investigated, but the nursing board did not weigh all of the evidence. She was given 1 year of probation, but was allowed to keep her nursing license. She no longer works for the same hospital, but it is unclear whether she resigned voluntarily or was fired.
So, yeah, that was the case of Annaleen Visser. There is a petition going on right now, actually, to get her, to get criminal charges against her because of the whole situation. I mean, the fact that the only thing that happened was that she was put on probation for a year with her nursing license and lost her job there. Who guarantees that she cannot go to another jail or and a hospital then do that the same thing again? And she paid as well. It was about $400 in costs. I think she's still in Georgia. I don't know. The research that I did not come up where she was going or where she was, but there is a petition going on, ongoing for to get her charged criminally about this whole situation. Even though it was a year ago, this whole situation, I don't know about the the statute limitations. I don't think there is any, but it's just absolutely wild because even the investigators, I mean, they don't believe her at all. All her lies and everything that just said throughout the interrogation and everything is just literally wild to me on how this did not go further and nothing else happened to her apart from the fact that she had probation for a year. But yet again, there is still more ongoing. I think there is going to be a lot of ink running in through this whole situation, and it's a case that I'm sure is going to get developed because it's I mean, it's absolutely horrible the way that happened. I think the family did try to sue the WellStar Health System, the one that employed her through the jail and everything. I think that is still ongoing. I don't think there is a situation ongoing because there's the positions being taken and everything. I'm actually looking at that at the moment. So there is nothing more about the positions being taking. But we'll see what happens in terms of that civil case that is, I think, ongoing since 2020. And yeah, we'll go there. But I think we're gonna leave this one for now. It's just crazy. I know. We've said the same thing, Denise. Definitely, it's just crazy. It's absolutely horrible what happened, and hopefully, his family can find some justice and find some closure because it's a horrible situation that has happened, and no human being, no matter what you did or not do, should not be treated this way. Should not have to, pass away like this in that condition, in the kind of cell that it did, and it's just horrible. And I really honestly hope that there is more justice than this for his family to be able to move on. But yeah, but that will be it for today. That is the case that I wanted to bring to your attention today. Now I'm gonna end the stream. Probably I'm gonna be in tomorrow. I want to stream the final part of the Quinton Nixon case out of Ohio. They are due to come back tomorrow. I need to have a look at the docket to see if there is any changes or on the date or anything. But apart from that, we'll keep on verdict watch, I guess. In the Melody Ferris trial, I think that is still. Hopefully today we'll have a verdict on that. But thank you very much for coming in and all the likes, and it does help the channel. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody, and have an awesome day. Bye.